Welcome to Decoded, where we make complex things simple. My name is Laz Shamase.
My name is Kirsten Lake, and today we're going to be talking about robotics. What if the key to conquering space isn't just better rockets, but better robots? Today we're talking to Paul Stansell, a visionary in robotics and space technology. He is the CEO of Solid State Propulsion, who's designing machines that could become humanity's ultimate off-world workforce. Imagine robots that can repair satellites in orbit, assemble lunar bases before astronauts arrive, or even clean up the millions of space debris fragments hurtling around Earth at deadly speeds. This isn't just automation, it's about creating mechanical pioneers that go where we can't, survive what we couldn't, and build the future of interplanetary civilization. Paul's work sits at the bleeding edge of robotics, where AI meets extreme engineering. From robotic arms that learn through trial and error to autonomous systems that could one day scout Mars, we're diving into how machines are rewriting the rules of space exploration. So Paul actually builds propulsion technology for satellites, but he knows a lot about robotics, and we're about to dive into that today. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I have to ask, when you look at today's most advanced space robots, do you see assistants or the future masters of the cosmos?
That's a good question. I'm mostly an optimist, so I mostly see assistants rather than Terminator bots taking over. But there is actually this game I play called Helldivers 2, and you can fight a lot of robots. So that's a lot of fun. So maybe either way, it could be a lot of fun. So yeah.
Okay. So that's also, better that they will become our
They'll
assistants.
exactly be assistant in T9000.
Because I train arm day, but I don't know if I'll be able to fight a robot.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have a couple questions for you. We want to dive into more practical, so we may have to shift your mind from space to Earth.
Sure.
Yeah, I know. I know. But okay, so as we know, there's a lot of robotic conferences that are going on at the current time. China's kind of leading the way. There's a new kind of company that's out called Honor. They're owned by Huawei, and they've kind of said they've put $10 billion investment into the AI field in March this year. They are looking at almost driving robotics in the next couple of months, couple of years. They're really investing there. And we're seeing the same thing from a lot of Chinese companies and US companies too. So I think the main thing I want to know is, what would you say the most surprising task robots can do today that most people don't know about?
Yeah, that's a good question. It could be maybe fruit picking. There's actually fruit picking robots.
Really?
Yeah, that they go down the row of trees and they can grab the fruit pretty well. So yeah, I think most people don't think of that as something robots would be able to do. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting areas that they're in. Yeah.
Okay, so with the way technology is going, what are your thoughts towards how robots are going to become a part of our daily lives? Do you think that it's going to come quicker than we think? Where do you think we will be using them more often?
Yeah, it's very interesting because robotics has kind of been like nuclear fusion in a way. It's it's been 10 years away for 50 years. So it is interesting, but I do think it does 2025 definitely does have this feel of the future and that things are actually accelerating. And I think probably the biggest accelerator is AI, and especially the transformer models and the large language models like ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude, and the ability for them to process so much information and make those connections between that. I think in the next few years will be very exciting seeing that transfer to robots and actually having robots in the world that can process a huge amount of say video data in the same way that a ChatGPT can process all the text and know exactly what you mean. You could have robots having a much better understanding of where they are in the world and what tasks they should perform.
Yeah, context clues and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and also with quantum computing, do you think that's going to help speed up the processing? Or I'm thinking from your point of view, so you kind of do engineering and physics and things like that. Yeah. So if you were to go and build something or build tech, would you now use a ChatGPT or quantum computing to help you with getting to the answer quicker.
Yeah, like research and development.
So that might be like slightly controversial, but I'm probably like very long on AI. I think AI is really big, and I'd be a bit short on quantum computing, just because I think it could be really great, but I also think quantum computing has a long way to go, and there are exciting breakthroughs happening, but I still think quantum computing is really in its infancy, whereas like traditional AI, well, the AI that we have now with the large language models, I really think that is going to take off and transfer to robotics. So I would lean to that side more.
And then in terms of your manufacturing of your propulsion system, do you see, first of all, is robots helping you during that whole development process?
Yes, yeah. So a lot of the, that's actually a great question. So in terms of our design, we have like, say, a lot of machining of metal parts, and those are all done by computer-controlled machines. And you can look up cool videos of like 5-axis CNC machines where they start with like a block of aluminium and then they'll rotate it and then they'll have different drills and different bits, basically carving the piece down to your design. So that's 100% automated. And then even, on the electronics side, our PCBs are also, it's very automated. And I would encourage anyone to look at like a tour of a PCB, which is a printed circuit board.
I didn't want to ask. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you.
Yeah. So like basically inside your cell phone, inside any electronics is a PCB, which is a printed circuit board. And the factories where they make them are really cool. And there's some cool videos online and you can see they're basically called pick and place machines. And they're like these robots that pick the part up. So whatever components you need, they put them on the board and then it's all automated. Yeah. It's very impressive. Yeah.
And do you think with regards to costing, do you think that is cheaper than using human labor?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. And especially with PCBs, there's a lot of things that humans would really struggle to do. And if I think back to when I was soldering circuits by hand, it was a real mess. So yeah, you're twisting wires together, you're like soldering things. It's really not as precise. So I think, definitely there's a lot of things like PCBs that are much better done by robots and automation.
Okay, so then do you think so now obviously places like the US and, well, actually most places, they offshore their work or their factory work to China where it's more like a human-based factories and things like that because of cheaper labor. So do you think now with robotics coming into the playground that people might be more likely to build their factories in their hometown?
That's an interesting point. I'm not sure, actually. That's quite interesting. I definitely think, China has a big advantage in that they do sort of have cheaper labor, but it's also just the insane like industrial base that they have. And so they make, so many of these parts and they have all those factories and it's kind of all interconnected. And another big advantage is energy. They're like rapidly upscaling their energy and, like say what with us, we still have load shedding from time to time. So, so I think definitely for robotics to accelerate, we'll definitely need more power and electricity. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because in South Africa we have load shedding. So
yeah,
can you imagine the whole production line? For like 3 hours.
3 hours just down.
Well, I suppose that's already how it is, actually.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
I think we've adapted to that. Of course, alternative energies.
Yeah.
And but robotics in general can really save quite a lot, especially on time and delivery. So compared to especially your manufacturing costs versus the turnaround from putting the parts together till final delivery to the client, have you had that transition from humans that were building it to now robotics?
So the design side is still like just humans. The actual like thruster and circuit design is very much still humans, but the manufacturing is probably 80% automated at this point. So that is an interesting transition, I guess. Whereas 10, 20 years ago, that could be a different story for sure.
Yeah, actually in one of our previous episodes, we were talking about who's going to be safe in this like we're trying to each episode uncover the truth, like whose job is going to be safe with AI and robots, like who is genuinely they
safe.
solidly going to be fine. But
really fine.
The more research that we do, the more that we realize almost every single industry is going to be affected. And I actually did a little bit of research. I'm like, okay, so with robotics specifically, so we're not looking at things like AI and machine learning, right? They say that some of the jobs that are going to definitely be replaced, I know that it's not going to be the case in South Africa for this one though, courier services. So they're saying that in America, what they do is they use drones to deliver packages and things like that. So I know someone who was talking to a guy who wanted to bring that technology here, and they had a conversation on whether it would be viable or not. And just with the crime rates here, they were worried about bringing drones in because, you know, you could order a really cheap package from Takealot and then you could steal the drone and then sell it.
And then resell it. Yeah. That's the thing. It's a risk on that.
Yeah, so courier guy.
You can't automate crime, right?
Yeah. I've actually seen I don't know if it's Japan or China, where they actually have genuine bots. Could be also in the States, where they have a genuine bots. You see those self-storages by the post office.
Oh, yeah.
Where you actually can deliver goods and put them in self-storages, and then someone can just come and pick it up. Yeah, so they have that already there.
That's pretty cool.
Which is, look, again, it's more governed, more secure and safely.
Yeah.
So those kind of things that we're talking about, will it actually replace that, Kristen?
Yeah.
Like all that. Because you mentioned courier guy right now. Yes, in America it's working. Yeah, it's still seeing
I think it depends on where you live, some of these things. So, I mean, you know, the government here has committed to helping with the crime rates more. So maybe at some point in time we can have technology like this, or maybe they would have to make the drones have like an electromagnetic shock on them or something. I don't know, some sort of deterrent. But I can definitely see that certain things, also because of our unions here, I don't know how like robots and things would break in that. But also that being said, we don't know what the future looks like. We don't know what the future of laws look like, the future of automation. They also say that the next one that is going to be replaced is doctors. So yeah, that's tough. That one's tough. Imagine studying for 12 years.
Studying for 12 years just for you to get replaced in a matter of months.
So I don't know how viable this would actually be, but they are saying that they're witnessing robot surgeons perform critical operations worldwide, and it's only a matter of time before they completely replace us. Robotic doctors will make more accurate and effective treatments for the patients compared to their human counterparts. There's also less chance of infection due to more sterile measures and no room for human error. So I think the only caveat to that would be cost, right?
Yeah, probably. So it's definitely an interesting era, I think, that we're going into. And I guess what's also interesting is, I think any job still has aspects that are hard to automate. So even say a doctor, right? Or even a surgeon, maybe the robot becomes better, but maybe the doctor still has to supervise it. Or even if the robot can completely take over the surgery, maybe the surgeon shifts more to the human side of chatting to the patients and stuff. But I think it's very interesting. And you could kind of see if it is really going to replace a lot of jobs, then that also means there will be a lot of economic growth. And then that should improve things. So I don't think we'll have a situation where a lot of jobs get completely replaced and there's not a lot of growth, because to replace the jobs, the productivity has to be boosted. So that's kind of a balancing thing, but it will be very interesting.
I also saw, I can't remember which company it was, but I saw that in 2022, with the rise of AI, a huge I wish I remember now, but a huge company laid off literally it was something crazy, 40,000 staff members.
Wow.
Wanting to replace them with AI. Wow. And now this year they've had to rehire the same amount of people back because they lost so much money during that stage, because all of the AI needed to be supervised, or the things that they were trying to automate.
I think they jumped the gun. They got super excited. Soon it's early infant stage. So look, robotics actually has come a long way, more than AI. Funny enough, I mean, Jetsons, for example. I mean, that's an old cartoon, and that was like in the previous century. So I think it's come a long way, especially in the manufacturing process, and actually helping speed around, turnaround time for manufacturing costs, as you can see globally. So the automation space in your business, have you seamlessly connected everything? Have you gone fully automated, or you still have that human factor within your business?
Still a human factor for us. But I think once we've sort of finalized some of the thruster designs, and then for some of the larger clients who need constellation, so they might need 400, then I think there would be more automation, and then maybe just final like test with quality assurance.
Yeah, QA.
Yeah. But like speaking of automation, I think the closest that I experimented with that is one time I automated my coffee machine. Just as a home project. So
tell us the secret.
Tell us that secret, please.
So I hacked it open. It was like an espresso machine. I hacked open the side and I put in some like Arduinos and some relays to turn it on and like activate the espresso mode. And then I put a timer. And then before I would go to sleep, I'd like set the timer. So I'd set it to like 8 hours or something. And this whole thing really looked like a bomb. Because there was all these wires and like this timer and everything. But then it worked pretty well. So it would just count down. And then once the timer ended, would turn the machine on, like heat up the water, and then it would like turn on the espresso mode and make the coffee. Yeah. And then I would wake up to like the sound of steam and coffee. Yeah.
That's incredible.
That is incredible. So we need that.
I'm just thinking that, I'm surprised that coffee machines already don't have that built in. Maybe another business idea.
Another side business over there.
Like I know that there's already like the Internet of Things, right? There's so many things, and there's that one brand, Xiaomi. Yeah. They have an entire catalog, and they are in South Africa as well.
Xiaomi, Tapo, Google Home. Why I'm saying this, because I use it. It's quite nice. It's quite neat.
And I mean, even what I use is I have one of their fans, so you can actually code in like if statements and things in there. So what I did also Goji lights,
Yes.
But the fan, essentially what I did is I said, okay, if it turns to this time in the evening, start turning on so that my room would be colder, like before I went to bed. So we're already getting to that. So I'm actually surprised that, maybe there is a coffee machine that exists that can do this. But if not,
it's an idea. I mean, I mean, it can help a lot. So but thank you, Paul, for joining us on the podcast. It's been great conversations with you. And Kristen?
And thank you for sharing your knowledge. And guys, I must tell you, getting an aeronautical engineer is actually like really tough. So we went through so many people, and also we wanted someone who is walking the walk as well, currently practicing and everything. So it was really, really difficult to find the right person to be on the podcast to share with us. So thank you so much, Paul, for, being, you were referenced to us, but being willing to come on the podcast, talk about your business. And please, guys, check him out, Solid State Propulsion. You can find him on LinkedIn, Paul Stansell, and we'll also link in his other contact details if you are somehow building a satellite or you want to know more about the technology, even if you're doing something with any type of machinery. Paul's your guy. And just wanted to say thanks.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
My name is Kirsten Lake.
My name is Loza Shomase, and you just got decoded.